behind the 8 ball on my moon planting for my melons and my squash, because I wasn't sure whether or not I really wanted to plant either of them. Last year, the squash bugs decimated my squash, and I swore I would never plant squash ever again in life. But after talking to my sister, I decided to go ahead on and plant some squash. Now, I've already potted up my peekaboo cups. If you're not familiar with peekaboo cups, it's just a plastic cup of any type. You clip a hole in the bottom and you put a colored cup on the base of it to keep out the light from the roots. And if you're curious as to if it's growing or not, you can take a peekaboo look and see what's happening. So I have these already set up. These were cups that I had previously used in other projects that I've either potted up or have petered out. So I have my cups already ready with my pre-made seed starting mix, which I make myself. It's nothing more than coconut coir, black cow, perlite, and mosquito bits. And so I've decided I am going to go ahead on and plant some squash because I really enjoyed it last year. I'm going to plant some squash in some containers. I don't want to put this in the ground, especially where I had the squash last year. And I'm going to try to do a better job of treating it so I don't get squash bugs in the first place. So I think what I'm going to do, last year I grew, not this one, but I grew a crookneck squash, and it was absolutely delicious. So I'm trying to decide which ones I'd like to grow. Now this variety, you have to plant it in a pot that's 12 inches or larger, and I do have that pot. So I think what I might do, because this one says it's very prolific, and I want something that's very prolific and it's early. I want it to be as early as possible. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant this early heirloom. Can you guys see that? I'm going to plant this early summer squash. And I think I am going to also plant, and also this is the same thing. This is a 12-inch or greater container variety of the summer dark green zucchini. So these two I'm going to go ahead on and plant up. And I already have 2 peekaboo cups here. So what I'm going to do is already have my soil. My soil is not as moist as I would like it to be. So I am going to put some water. I have some rainwater off to the side. I'm going to put a little bit of rainwater in there, just like so, just to moisten that soil up a little bit. You don't want it wringing wet. You want it just enough to where it's not bone dry, because you are going to put a little bit more water into it. Let's move this over so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Let me move my gloves out of the way. I don't think I'm going to need them. There you are. And again, this is the dark green zucchini. It's a 50-day harvest variety, and it can go into a container as long as it's 12 inches or greater. And I already have a container that is 17 inches, I want to say. Yeah. And so I'm going to go ahead on and open this up. I bought this either last year or earlier this year when they just started putting out seeds. And let's see. Yeah, 21. So I bought this year when they first started putting out seeds in the big box store. This is taking forever to try to get into. It's like breaking into a place you don't need to be breaking into. Okay, let's see. Here are the seeds, typical squash looking seeds. I'm not going to plant very many, and I can see now that this one's broken, so that's not going in there. I'm going to place 2 seeds in here. Or do I want to place 3? I'm going to place 2. I'm going to have faith that this seed is going to grow, and I'm only going to place 2. Close that up. Now I have my seed starting mix over to the side. I'm going to open up the bag with my spoon. I'm going to grab a spoonful of soil and just sprinkle it lightly over the top of those seeds like so. And that's a teaspoon, just one you get from a takeaway meal if you're going out and about. I tend to keep these just for this purpose. I like to use real utensils. I never use the takeaway if I can help it. So I keep them for this purpose only. And that seed does not want to stay covered up. All right. So now I'm going to take my sprayer and I'm going to spray the top of that soil just to wet it up, because those seeds need to get started with their germination, and they do that by wetting them. All right. That seed does not want to stay covered up. So I'm going to take a little bit more soil from the side. There we are. And press it down. Now, before I finish this off, I'm going to put some vermiculite over the top of it. Putting the vermiculite over the top is going to help keep it moist. And that way the seeds will germinate a little bit, hopefully a little bit faster. And hopefully it will keep some of the gnat bugs from trying to get into it. But we shall see. It just seems like the gnats are deciding they want to take over no matter what you do, right? So that is my dark green zucchini, and I'm going to label that cup momentarily once I get everything potted up. So I'm just going to place that over the top, and I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of these seeds. So let me speed this up, because I know you all don't want to see this real time. You just saw me do it just a moment ago, right? Okay, I hear you. You want me to do it one more time. I hear you. I hear you. I'm going to do it one more time. This is the early prolific Straightneck. Just open up the packet. And this packet, I cannot see what that says. I literally can't tell. Yep, nope, can't read that. So I do believe that this is also a seed that I picked up in January or February sometime. I don't get out that much, so I don't really remember, but I know I picked up a couple of seeds this year. These seeds looking kind of ugh, like it might have some mold on them. Ugh. We'll take those out. Those look terrible. We don't want to put any mold in our packets, right? Or mold in our cups. That looks ugh. So I'm going to take a couple of seeds, take 2 of them, put them in there like that. And because though I hate to toss out seeds, but those seeds didn't look so good. They look like they had mold on them. Did you guys see that? There's a lot of darkness on these seeds, and I feel like that is mold. So I'm going to go through these seeds and pluck these out. Have you all ever bought any seeds that look like that? They don't look healthy to me. You guys see that? They don't look healthy at all. So I'm going to take those seeds out. Can you see that one? It looks really bad. And I don't want those in the packet just in case they are moldy seeds. That's terrible. That is really terrible. Okay. And this one is broken. So I know I dropped a seed. Here, and I'm not going to worry about it because these seeds were looking really bad. And that right there, folks, is a good reason to save your own seed. That way you are not dealing with somebody else's seed. But you know what? If you don't have seed that you saved and you have to buy a store-bought seed, don't worry about that. I don't think I've ever picked up seeds that look like that before, so that's a surprise to me. So I'm going to get a spoonful of soil, plop it on top, push it down, and I'm going to water it in just like that. Now I didn't water the soil beforehand, so now I'm using my watering can because I didn't water the soil beforehand. And last but certainly not least, vermiculite. And I'm going to place these in the greenhouse. There we go. Put some vermiculite over there, just like so. And those are my yellow crookneck squash seeds planted. So let me move on to my melons. Hold that. The last thing I'm going to plant today is some melon. Try some Abashi Bitter Melon, as well as, I wasn't going to grow this, but I wanted to grow maybe an early silver line. Can you guys see that? Melon. I had no intentions of growing this, but I have 2 cups here, so why not give it a try? I love my summer melon. Now, this is a bitter, so it is not sweet. It is bitter. This one is a sweet. So I'm going to take my cup, just like so. I'm going to wet the soil, just like that. I know that was a lot of water. I didn't intend for that to be so much water. I'm going to have to pour some water off. That's okay. So I'm going to take the bitter melon seeds out. Oh, wow, look at that. They look like squash. This looks like, this is a vining. It vines like a squash. Or I'm sorry, it vines like a gourd. This looks like a gourd seed. So I'm going to take the 2 lighter seeds and place them in the soil, just like so. And I'm just going to push them down. The soil is very soft, so I don't need to worry about it too much. And then cover it over like that. Ooh, that's soupy. I'm going to have to really drain that off. And I'm going to place some vermiculite over the top. Just like that. And that is the bitter melon. Now, if you all don't know anything about the early silverline melon, if you've ever gone to an Asian store, that's where I first encountered it. And the summer I encountered this melon, I bought an entire box and I ate that melon like it was going out of style. It was so delicious. It is a tiny melon that fits into the palm of your hand, so you can eat one whole melon all by yourself. That's exactly what I did. So now this seed is not a new seed, so I am going to have to put more than 1 in here because I don't know how many of these are going to germinate. So I'm going to put a couple seeds in here. More than a couple. I'm going to put 4 and see if they germinate. And this is the early silverline melon. There you go. All right, that is my melon. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the rest of these. I'm going to cover it up with a little bit of seed starting mix, just like so. Cover them up. I'm going to moisten the seed to get them activated so that they know it's time to start growing. And I'm going to top it off with some vermiculite. And that is it for me growing or starting my seeds for my spring melon as well as my spring summer squash. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Really wasn't a tutorial. It's just me in my little indoor garden space potting up some more things I'd like to have in the garden for the spring. So now I'm going to write exactly what it is in these cups, today's date, and all of this is going to go in the greenhouse. So thanks for watching.